Dr. Ntsakisi Maluleke. Dr. Maluleke, are you here with us this morning? See, there we go. And are you able to start your video as well? Is that correct?
Good morning, Sereni. I see it says I cannot start my video because the host has stopped it.
Yes, and I'm afraid I am no longer the host because I got kicked out. So team in the background to please give us permission for both of us to share our video. In the meantime, if you're happy, I'd like to introduce you to our participants today. So Dr. Ntsakisi Maluleke is currently working as a public health medicine specialist at the Gauteng Department of Health in the Office of the Deputy Director General Hospital Services for the province. In her role at the department, she has worked with multiple private and public sector stakeholders in policy development, health program planning, implementation, evaluation, and monitoring, as well as strategic planning projects for the province, especially around mother and child quality assurance and now COVID-19. She is also involved in strengthening clinical governance in the province. Prior to this role, Dr. Maluleke worked as a public health medicine registrar in the Tshwane district. Her dissertation evaluated the reasons for late antenatal booking within Tshwane in order to effect maternal health policy change. She has also worked at Alexander Forbes as an independent medical disability advisor, where she used her public health analytical skills experience to evaluate temporary and permanent disability cases for public sector employees. Dr. Maluleke has strong skills and interests in outcomes research, health management, and behavioral science interventions, and we are very pleased that she's going to talk us through the MMed journey this morning. Over to you, Maluleke.
Thank you once again, Sereni. I'm still struggling to share my video. I'm not sure who the host is, but I think whilst the host is allowing me to start sharing my video, I'd like to just say good morning to you and good morning to everyone on this call. And it is my absolute pleasure this morning to be a part of this platform. I need to also thank Brenda for her thorough presentation, because it also definitely made me to review all the work and knowledge that I have around research. I'm not sure if you want me to just continue with the presentation or if I should wait for the video to start.
I think maybe if you're happy to continue talking, we'll try in the background to figure out the video and try and get your face to join us as well as soon as possible.
Okay, not a problem. So, as you've mentioned, I'm a public health specialist, and research is at the core of what I do on a day-to-day. And for many who are on this call, research almost sounds like a swear word, and it's a daunting task. But as you heard from Prof, it's really, you can have your cake and eat it. And it's just about being taught principles of what is it that you need to do to ultimately have beautifully bound book at the end of the process. So one question that we've come across in the recent past working with registrars from other disciplines is the question of how do I ultimately get my MMed? And that's what this presentation is going to look at. It's actually a very short and brief presentation into what is it that the MMed entails. And I'm not sure why my slides are not moving.
Dr. Maluleke, I've given you permission to act as co-host, so you should be able to switch on your video now.
Okay.
There we go. Lovely to see you.
Here we go. Hi. Okay, and then now, okay. So, we know that registrarship is a very busy time. You've got lots of academic demands, and it doesn't mean that we stop living. We still have demands, on a personal front and everything else that we do. So specializing is a stressful time. It has extraordinary demands. And a lot of times registrars ask themselves, why is it so important for me to do this thing called research? I mean, I'm learning at the
Sorry, Dr. Maluleka, I think we've lost you. It looks like I'm not the only one who's struggling to see and hear. Okay, I think we've just lost Dr. Maluleka on the call. We'll just ask your patience, please, while we try to get her back on. Oh, there we go. Hi, sorry, we lost you there for a little bit. And you're just muted now. Dr. Maluleka, I think you need to unmute, please. Sorry, you're muted again. We can see the screen, but you're muted again, I'm afraid. There we go.
Oh, apologies. I see technology is not being our friend. But, you know, I love the quote from Professor Bennett because it really summates why it is that it's important for registrars, for anyone in the medical field, to learn the principles of research. And you already mentioned it in the beginning in your introductory remarks, Sereni, that lots of medical basic degrees now, the MBCHBs, are also introducing a block around research within the public health sphere. And it's a great learning tool, but for some, it still is very scary later on when they are now doing their masters and have to do this thing called research. But it really ensures that as medical professionals, we also improve the way that we work, that our work is evidence-based, and that we also harness other skills such as teamwork, learning how to summate publications and understand them. And that's part of the reason why research is important. Again, my slides are stuck and not moving.
I can try from my side to load them and just see if that will help at all. Sometimes I think you just have to keep clicking on it.
So I'll stop sharing. I've stopped sharing. Yeah. You can share from your side. Is it showing on your side?
It was, but then it did freeze at a point. So I'm going to share my screen and then you can let me know. There we go. So I'm going to share that screen. Can everybody see the presentation now?
Yes, so you can please just put it in slide mode and then we can go down to slide 4.
Sure. Is that where you want it to be?
Yes, on slide 4.
Yes, that's what I've.
Yes. So, you know, one of the slide before that, the 2011. Thanks.
So I'm at 2011.
So one of the questions, yes, thank you. So one of the questions that's been asked is also, why is it that as a medical specialists in South Africa, we're expected to do the MMed? And I just want to take you back to 11 years ago when a decision was made by our principals at the College of Medicine and the HPCSA that a requirement in order to call yourself a specialist in South Africa was for you to firstly do your CMSA qualification, meaning that you would have served 4 years within whatever discipline you're doing. And for the colleagues on the call, it's within pediatrics. So it's for you to ultimately get your FCP. And secondly, was for you to then get an MMed with your particular university, essentially meaning that we are in an age where medical specialists in South Africa are expected to have 2 master's degrees. And I know this caused a lot of tension, a lot of headache at the time. And it saddens me that we are still experiencing a lot of registrars who are struggling as far as research is concerned. So one advice that I have, I'd like to say congratulations to all the registrars who are on this platform and are in the infancy of their registrarship. So if this is your first year of being a PEDS Reg, this is the best webinar for you to be on, because your research journey needs to start as of yesterday. It takes about 2 years to ultimately be able to produce an MMed. So start from the beginning. We'll go into what the different universities entail and require, but at the end of the day, the time is the same. Minimum 18 months, but definitely to comfortably complete your MMed without having stress and pressure, I would say give yourself 2 years. And in your latter years of studying, you want to concentrate more on completing your FCP than having to worry about the MMed. So the sooner you start the journey, the better. And unfortunately, in this day and age, you can't only have an FCP for you to then go to HPCSA to say, I am now a specialist. You need the MMed. So on the next slide, I forgot I'm not changing the slides. The next slide, Sereni.
I'm just trying. There we go.
Yeah, it's still delaying on, there we go. So, we've just had a very in-depth presentation from Brenda around how do I start my research, what do I do? And funny enough, the 2 slides that I put into this presentation, because as she also said over and over again, one of the most important things, and that usually cause that cupcake not to rise at the end, is choosing an inappropriate topic. Or, your MMed, your master's, is about mastering doing basic research. So don't choose a topic that is going to be difficult to do and you won't be able to finish. Different universities have different requirements on how it is that you ultimately get your research question and your topic, as well as your supervisor. For some, it's about interest. For some, they give you a database of topics that are available, and then you can choose from those topics together with the supervisor. And then for some, you develop it together with your supervisor. So for each of the different registrars, find out from your reg curator, how is it that I can get a topic and where can I get topics from? One advice that I usually give is that most departments of health, whether it be your district or the provincial department, they do have a mother and child unit. And in that mother and child unit, they'll have certain topics of interest or areas of need that they need people to research into. So contact them if you are struggling to find a topic, or if there isn't a topic that is of interest to you or one has not been given. That's very important. The sooner you find a topic and you start doing your preliminary research, your in terms of a literature review, finding out what is the knowledge on this particular topic, what is available out there, then it assists you to be able to get to where you ultimately want to get to, which is writing up your protocol. On the next slide, the other challenge that I have witnessed with a lot of registrars is around the literature review. So if we can go into the next slide, Prof also went into how to conduct a literature review briefly. Read up, read as much as you can. Go not on Google, go onto Google Scholar, onto your search engines through your library, read up journals, read up books, and see what knowledge is available concerning that particular topic that you want to go into. What has been researched around it? And it's also nice when you choose a topic, that it's a topic that's going to, now it's the public health side of me that's coming out, but that it's a topic that's going to cause an impact. So as small as your research might seem, but if I am the CEO of Steve Biko Hospital and I have a challenge of babies who are dying in my neonatal ICU for the last 5 years, and you give me the reason why they are dying and give me recommendations of what I can do in order to prevent the deaths of those babies, then you've helped me in my management. if I am the head of mother and child within the district of, what shall we say, in Mpumalanga, you know, and you come to me and you tell me that these resources, your mothers are, I mean, your babies are coming out with HIV because the mothers are not being able to access antiretrovirals due to whatever system challenges there. You are helping me in my management role. So that's why I said one way to get your topic is to go to the departments, is provincial departments, and also to go to the districts. And then your research has an impact aspect to it. As small as it might be, it is nice when your research has an outcome that public health can use to improve the services that are given. So I'm not going to go into how to conduct a literature review because Prof has already gone into research methodology. But what I am going to go into is on the next slide, which is around how do I get my MMed if I'm in different universities. So if I don't call out your university, it just might mean that I didn't get a chance to speak to someone from your university. But so let's start with UCT. So yay, I am chosen as a PEDS Reg. I already have my part 1. And now my topic is given to me. I was informed that usually there are topics that are available that you can choose from together with a supervisor. Once you do that, you write a protocol, which you then submit to the departmental research committee. There'll be 3 anonymous reviewers. You can suggest who must review your protocol, but usually they'll be anonymous. Once those reviewers have approved that protocol, it's then given to the head of the department. Then you'll submit all the appropriate documents. And ethics, are you struggling to hear me? Are you the only one who's struggling to hear? I see, am I audible?
I think there is some difficulty. Every so often you break away for a little bit. I think the gist of what you're saying is coming through, but unfortunately there are a few breaks here and there.
Apologies, I'm out on a farm in the middle of nowhere.
Well, we're definitely getting most of what you're saying, and I think the slides are coming through quite nicely, and we can distribute those afterwards as well if you're happy.
Okay, no, definitely. I'm happy to do so, and it will be helpful, I think, also to the registrars. So as I was saying, I'm going through the journey of the pediatric registrar who is at UCT. So we've gotten to ethics, and ethics for most universities is about a month process. So the committees will sit maybe once a month. After reviewing your protocol, then give you feedback if there are any changes or any additions that need to be made prior to you then finally getting that letter that says, yes, I can continue with my research. But one thing that's come up in recent years, it's the need for registrars to apply with the National Health Research Database. And that you can only do once you have your ethics letter from the university that says, yes, you can do that research, whether it be at the hospital or wherever it is that you're doing it. And once you have that approval, that's when you can now continue with the next phase being your data collection and then your write-up for your MMed. So one thing that was shared with me concerning the UCT training platform is that an opportunity is given to the registrars to share the work that they're doing on their MMed. And that's very helpful. I remember during my reg time that we used to do this on a weekly basis. You would share what is it that you're doing, how far are you, so that your peers also comment and add and make you think a little bit different. Remember what the dean from Notre Dame in Australia had said, that it's also about teamwork, it's about critical thinking, it's about seeing things in a new way. So, research is also a different way of learning. So we all learn from somebody else's research, and you also know then how to refine the body of work that you're also doing. So on the next slide, we go into the next university. The slides haven't moved on my side, Sereni.
I've got it. University of Free State now. Is that the university you're looking for?
Yes, but they're not reflecting on my side.
Hey, Sereni, they haven't changed here either.
Okay, I'm not sure if there's a delay, but it has changed on my screen. So maybe we just give it a second. Can you see it now on your side?
Yes, finally, yes, now it's come up. I can see it. So with the flowchart that was shared by Sereni from the University of Free State, what I loved is the way that it actually divides the different years. And this is very helpful, and it's something that can definitely be adopted by all the different registrars, is that, you know, I come first year, identify my topic, as we've already said, with the University of the Free State, there is a course that is compulsory and expected to be attended by the NO protocol. And for some of the universities, it's probably a point of recommendation to the powers that be, that instead of having the course for protocol writing being at the end, after you've written your protocol, it should be something that's given to you before. As we'll see with some of the universities, they first expect you to write the protocol and then come and refine it. But for some people, they've never seen a protocol. They don't know how to even start writing a protocol. So it's nice to attend classes or to attend some sort of lecture so that you can ultimately then know, how do I develop my research question? What do I put in my literature review? How are the different methods of analysis? How do I define the type of study, etc.? So, but in terms of the rest of the process from Free State, it's very similar to that which is expected from UCT. So if we go on to the next university.
I've changed it to University of Pretoria.
Yes. So the University of Pretoria is my alma mater. And I see that the process has not changed from 10 years ago. So usually you'll choose your own topic, get a supervisor who's willing to supervise you, and then you first write your protocol, which usually bears a lot of challenge for a lot of registrars. I've helped a few registrars to refine and look at their protocols, because the TNM that is placed there is it's a research methodology workshop or program that's run for a week, but you can only attend it as soon as you have a protocol. And for some people, they don't even know how to start writing the introduction. So it's very difficult for them to get to that TNM without first having someone assist them or teach them on how to write a protocol. So I think for the University of Pretoria colleagues, it will be helpful if they did it the other way around. Probably have some lessons first and then have the final refinement. But post TNM, what is then expected is that you will apply to your academic advisory committee to approve your protocol, and then you apply for ethics approval. Once ethics has approved, the ethics committee has approved the protocol, you will then again, like the other universities, apply to the National Health Research Database and then conduct your research. So as I said, the processes are very similar, and give yourselves enough time. I can't overemphasize the need for time, because usually from the process from committee to committee to committee is around a month. And if you have time, then you are able to write your protocol within a month comfortably. But if you're very busy, it will take you a little bit longer. I know that with the colleagues from UCT, they also mentioned that they are given some leave time to be able to write their protocols and also to conduct part of the research, which is nice, a nice gesture from the department, although the times that you're given sometimes might not correlate with the stage of your research. So in a way, try and plan that it correlates with the stage of research that you're in. Then coming to the next university, which is I think the last university that I got a little bit of input from, because I saw that the pattern seems to be similar, is WSU on the next slide. So the slide looks a little bit hazy, but again, with WSU, what you do is you choose your topic and your supervisor, and then you'll attend weekly lectures. And these weekly lectures will assist you to be able to write up your protocol. And what is expected in terms of protocol writing is that it needs to be 4,000 to 5,000 words. So this university is specific about how long it should be. Some of the other universities will be a little bit more specific around the number of references that you have in your protocol. They'll usually say have anything between 15 to 20 references within your protocol. So after you've submitted your 4,000 to 5,000 words to the scientific review committee, it goes then through to the research panel, and then you'll apply then for ethics. And again, it's to the university, the national database, as well as the province. Once all of that has been approved, you will then proceed with your write-up. So on the next slide, as I've said, most of the universities do have a very similar process. So once you're starting your journey, draw out a timeline for yourself, map it out on a calendar with your supervisor, try and stick to your timelines, your deadlines, so that you do indeed complete it by hopefully at the latest year 3. So one other question that I've received a lot in the recent past has been about what should my protocol contain? I've just put all of those different headings, and that's a basic protocol, what a basic protocol should have. So firstly, you'll have some sort of background. You'll tell us why is it that you want to do this research, what has been found internationally, in the region, bring it down to South Africa. Do your literature review, and it's nice when the literature review has subheadings so that we can see your thought process, see where it is that you're going, how are you thinking of formulating a possible answer to whatever your question is, and then also then bring it back to why it is in this particular setting, through the rationale, are you wanting to do this particular research project. You'll have an aim, and then have objectives that are smart. You know, objectives that are specific, they are measurable, achievable, yeah. So, and ones that you can actually collect. Because a lot of the time, registrars within PEDS, you will do a record review. So try and go and see in that department first. If I'm going to be doing a record review on this particular topic, will I actually get the answers that I'm hoping to answer? Is that information in my records? If it's not, then I need to rethink my research. If I'm going to be conducting interviews, will I have the time to do these interviews? How am I going to do these interviews on this vulnerable group called children? You know, thinking about the ethical considerations around then that particular type of research to check, will I be able to achieve it? And then in your setting, it's very, very important. That recipe that Prof spoke about, this is the most important part of the recipe. This is the baking powder. So if you don't put this part in properly and you don't formulate it well, your cake is not going to rise. It will flop. So it is very important to have your consultation with your biostatistician, to have a discussion with your supervisor, to possibly also have a discussion with other colleagues, bounce it off within your department so that you refine the way that you are going to do your research. And then ethical considerations, especially for your field, are very sensitive. Make sure you map them out nicely within your protocol. And I can't overemphasize the need for you to be able to plan, and meet the deadlines. So tirelessly plan, and meet your deadlines. And don't forget the biases that can also arise from that particular research that you're conducting. So this is just a brief overview of what should be in my protocol. And what is actually in your protocol, it will form the base of what will be in your research paper, with the addition of a results chapter, and then the discussion of your results, and then your conclusion with recommendations. So if you write this recipe book very well, then you're not going to be doing so much in writing up the ultimate research document. So on the next slide, which I think is my last slide, if I remember correctly. Yes. So again, I'd just like to say to everyone that welcome to research. Breathe. It's really not get help.
All right, Dr. Maluleke, I think we're losing you again, but it might help
All the
if you stop your
universities
video.
have a public health department. Go and find someone who can assist you, who can protocol and hold your hand through. Stop my video. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, sorry, just in terms of ways.
Okay, so I've stopped the video.
There we go. We can hear you quite clearly now. Let's, sorry, if you don't mind going through your conclusion again.
Thank you so much, Serini. No, as I was saying earlier, I'm out on a farm in the middle of nowhere. So that's the reason why the reception is not the best. But in conclusion, I just want to say to each and every single person that's undergoing this journey that looks insurmountable, to breathe. It really, really is possible for you to complete the process within time and to have a beautiful cake, as Prof said. And get help. Each and every single university has a public health department. Find someone who is passionate about helping registrars. They'll show you easier ways of how to conduct research. They'll share with you templates for protocols. Already most universities do have a template, but it's also nice to see previous protocols that have been well written, how they're written, so that you can then emulate the same standard within your own protocol, and then ultimately also in your own research paper. And don't forget the time factor. So for many registrars, they panic at the end of their registrarship and try and squeeze in research in a short time. That doesn't work. You saw all the different committees that you first need to apply to get your protocol approval. And then ultimately, when you get your protocol approval, remember, your reg time doesn't stop. You're still doing your rotations, you're still busy, but somehow you need to fit in data collection and the write-up. So give yourself enough time to do your MMed and also successfully do your FCP. And thank you so much to to Serini and the team for allowing me to be a part of this platform. And I hope it's not the last time that we'll be engaging.
Thank you so much.